Ever wondered how games, apps, and websites come to life? It's all thanks to programming. Let's dive into the basics and get you started. What is programming? Programming is the process of creating instructions for computers to follow. Think of it like giving a robot a set of instructions to complete a task. For example, you might tell the robot to move forward, pick up an object, and then place it somewhere else. This is essentially what programming does with software. There are various types of software out there, such as games, apps, and operating systems. Each of these relies on programming to function. Basic programming concepts. Let's start with variables. Variables are like containers for storing data, such as numbers or text. Next, we have data types, which are different kinds of data that variables can hold, like integers, floats, and strings. Then, there are operators, which are used to perform operations on variables. These include arithmetic operators, comparison operators, and logical operators. Control flow is another important concept. It determines how programs make decisions and repeat actions using if statements and loops. Finally, we have functions, which are reusable blocks of code that can be called upon whenever needed. Understanding these basic concepts is crucial for building your programming skills. Choosing a programming language can seem a bit overwhelming at first, but don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's start with some of the most popular languages. Python, JavaScript, Java, and C++ are all widely used and have their own strengths. When selecting a language, consider factors like ease of learning, community support, and specific use cases. For example, Python is known for its simplicity and readability, making it great for beginners. JavaScript is essential for web development, while Java is widely used in enterprise environments. C++ is powerful for system-level programming and game development. To give you an idea of how these languages differ, here's a brief example. In Python, you might write a simple print statement like this. In JavaScript, it would be. Java requires a bit more setup with, and in C++, you'd write. Each language has its own syntax and style, but they all serve the same fundamental purpose: to instruct the computer to perform tasks. Getting started with programming is an exciting journey. First, you'll need to set up your development environment. This usually involves installing a code editor or an integrated development environment, also known as an IDE. Popular choices include Visual Studio Code, PyCharm, and Eclipse. Once you have your environment set up, let's write your very first program together. We'll create a simple Hello World program. Open your code editor and type in the following for Python or for JavaScript. Run the program, and you'll see the message displayed on your screen. Now let's talk about debugging and troubleshooting. Errors in code are completely normal and part of the learning process. When you encounter an error, read the error message carefully, as it often provides clues about what went wrong. Don't hesitate to search online for solutions or ask for help in programming communities. And speaking of learning resources, there are plenty of online courses, tutorials, and communities out there. Websites like Code Academy, Free Code Camp, and Coursera offer excellent courses for beginners. Joining forums and communities like Stack Overflow or Reddit can also be incredibly helpful. To wrap things up, let's recap the key points we've covered. We've discussed how to choose a programming language, set up a development environment, write your first program, and troubleshoot errors. Remember, the most important thing is to practice and experiment. The more you code, the more comfortable you'll become. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're just opportunities to learn and grow. So I encourage you to start coding today and explore the endless possibilities that programming offers. Whether you're building websites, creating games, or developing software, the skills you learn will open up a world of opportunities. Before we end, here are a few additional tips. Visual aids like diagrams, code examples, and screen recordings can really enhance your understanding of programming concepts. Try to relate what you're learning to real-world applications. For instance, if you're learning about loops, think about how they might be used in a game or an app you use every day. Consider incorporating interactive elements like quizzes or coding challenges to keep yourself engaged and reinforce what you've learned. And finally, community engagement is key. Don't hesitate to ask questions, share your projects, and connect with other learners. Joining a community can provide support, motivation, and valuable insights. By following these tips and the steps we've discussed, you'll be well on your way to becoming a proficient programmer. Happy coding!